The toughest decision I'll make all day is whether or not to walk to work or take the subway. It's beautiful out, barring the worst air quality on earth, but it's already 10:45 and I'm antsy to get into the office now, so I think I'm gonna subway it. Yeah! First order of business in the office, vans off, barks on. Let them feet bark. Second order of business, lights. Let them plants bark. Third order of business, the plants drink. Keep them alive at all costs. I'd rather these stay alive than my employees. We have a YouTube video going live today on the main channel. This video is titled 7 Players to Let Your Idiot League Mates Draft in 2023. Last year's version was our most popular video on our channel ever. 7 Players to Let Your Idiot League Mates Draft in 2022. All right, so that video went live. Needless to say, that's an exciting video to put out because we know it does a lot of damage for us in the best way possible for our channel. Let's take you inside the mind of an idiot. I'll show you last year's. This is last year's. We're at 159,000 views on that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've been doing this for long enough. I've been putting out fantasy videos for like 7 or 8 years now. So I've been able to very easily over that time span learn and pick up what kind of things work on YouTube, what kind of things don't work on YouTube, what specific trends will be popular. I know any sort of video that revolves around running backs will do much better on YouTube than wide receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks. Anything with the word idiot league mates is gonna work really well. We did that video for the first time 2 years ago, did really well. That was a video titled that Tony thought of. I tested it out. I was like, okay, awesome. Let's fucking double down on this. Anything that you write must draft running backs, must draft wide receivers, whatever it is, there are very specific titles or themes of videos that work really, really, really well. The tough part is finding the balance of honestly just being corny and overusing the fuck out of it and actually making content that you think is fun, unique, innovative, and will resonate with your audience. I think fantasy YouTube does a horrible job with that. I know there are some channels out there that literally every single video is must draft these players, must draft these players. It's like 7 videos of must draft players. Like they're basically telling you to draft every single player in fantasy football, which is just, it's dumb, right? And it ruins it for everybody else, which is fine for me. I actually personally like that because then it makes you get creative with what's happening next. Now, that being said, when things work, when things are very popular and you see results from them, other people flock onto them, right? As I'm telling you to do. You want to get onto the trends before they become popular. And the problem with that is, you know, if everybody knows calling your league mates idiots and doing titles like 7 Players to Let Your Idiot League Mates Draft is something that works, everybody's going to start doing it. And you know what happens? Then they'll stop working because everybody continues to do the same thing over and over. And then the audience is like, I'm tired of this shit. Then you need to innovate. Then you need to recreate.
1 hour later.
Now, everything that I've showed you or told you about up to this point is strictly as it relates to me being a content creator. I also run a business. And now it's time to yell at Sexual Patterson. Sexy.
Yeah.
Why have we not had any trivias on Instagram in a week?
Just forget to post on there.
Don't fucking smile. This is serious.
Next to our camera.
Because I'm documenting my day. And I was talking about being a content creator, and then I'm like, I need to also run a fucking business over here, so I need to go yell at you. It's a conversation we've had before. Shave your mustache. Instagram, you know what you need to do with these clips. Probably a lot of worthy interns on Instagram. Sexy. See what I mean? This is a problem with me. No one takes me fucking seriously. He's smiling because I'm yelling at him, but I have a camera on him. Fortunately, that's the way the way we have this set up. I like to film things for better or worse, to show you what's really happening in here. Can obviously be stricter, where I could like look and document every single video and make sure that it's up on TikTok and Twitter, on Instagram, and be on top of that shit. Not how I operate. As you can see, I have a lot going on. Making this video in itself is gonna take like 6 hours on top of all the shit I need to do because I leave for vacation on Monday. So I don't have the time to micromanage. I don't want to micromanage. I want to put people in spots where they can just do whatever they want to do. Don't know if I'll ever get completely to that point. I think some of that comes to the fact that like both Sexy and Tony are very young. They're 24, and this is Tony's first corporate job, sexy is probably second maybe. So they're still learning the ropes, and I have to remind myself of that sometimes, where I'm like, you guys chose to be here, like show up and fucking get everything done, you know? But I have to realize that they've never been in this situation. They don't know things to do all the time. So it goes back to me making sure that I set up these like systems in place that help them succeed, because they've never been down these paths before. They haven't had these full-time jobs. They haven't been in a corporate setting where the little things matter. The little details add up over time. And I have to relay that to them, whether that's fucking yelling at them on camera or pulling them into the office and having a one-on-one with them. And it's finding out which one of those versions work better. Like, I guarantee you, Sexy ain't gonna miss another fucking Instagram video again because of the way that I approached him with this. I know I'll probably get some comments like, I can't believe you put your employees on blast on fucking in public. That's what you sign up for if you wanna work here. Like, this is what's gonna happen. I also come out and tell you all the shit that I fuck up. I'm not above anybody. I mess things up, and I'm not afraid to talk about the things that I mess up. So if you're in my space, you're gonna mess up, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it with you, and we're gonna talk about it with me, and we're gonna talk about it with you. We are bringing on, I don't know, 1, 7, depending how.
We're up to a dozen.
Depending how good of pitches you guys have. Interns, because Patterson has to go back to Canada. So what I had them do is we end up, we cut it off, right? The application?
Yeah. I cut it off at like noon.
What do we end up with number-wise?
172, but then we also probably deleted.
I'd probably deleted 20.
Yeah.
So we're probably closer to 200.
All right, so we had, we'll say 170-ish, like actually people trying to get the internship. I wasn't trying to look through all of them, it's just way too many for right now. So I had them narrow down all of the interns. I told them to narrow down their top 5 of the strongest applicants of the 170, and now they're presenting it to me here. So I'm gonna sit my ass on this couch right here. They're gonna go up and present their strongest pitches on these interns.
Crazy how we have the power to destroy all these people's hopes and dreams.
You do.
So many dreams rely on our hands to fight for it.
This is like your guys' first decisions within our company that will affect our future.
Yeah, no, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, well, it was way less about like me trusting you guys to be able to do this, and way more about me just not having time to go through 170 applications.
It was fun though, you know?
I could tell.
It was kind of like, you remember when you were on the outside trying to get in, and you, I think that was like the biggest thing I looked for in people who were like desperately trying to get in, and like kind of regardless of where, I would say what you've done did play a big part, not so much like how good it was, but just like the effort that you've put in to try to get in, if that makes sense.
Spoken like a true intern.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like we talked a little bit about tiering, and I was like, I think there's like a clear top 2.
Top 5, the way I split it up was I have basically 3 tiers where it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 5th one I like, but I do think there is a little bit of a drop off for my 5th candidate. I'll start at the top. This feels a little bit Bryce Young-y, where he, should be the top candidate. I looked for what I call get-to guys, not have-to guys. Guys who, if they worked here, were like, oh, I get to edit a BDGE video, I get to host, I get to do this, I get to that. Not, oh, I have to do this shit, I have to do that. Because I remember when I was back home, and I remember that first email you reached out to me being like, yo, I need you to edit this video. My mind was blown. I was like, dude, I get to edit a BDGE video. That's fucking nuts. And it was a Twitter video, right? It wasn't going up on the YouTube page, it wasn't anything. And I remember my friends were like, how much are you getting paid for that? I was like, I'm not getting paid for that. The fuck you think? I was like, just, he has the attitude that he would be honored to come in, work for BDG. And I think that's the attitude that we need, the work ethic that we need. Only 19 years old, but this kid might just be fucking electric.
I've got 3 of the same 5 as Tony has. I don't know, I just feel like...
No, okay, I did like the video. That was kind of electric. I said, so in my exact notes, I was like, I was like, I hate that I find this kid funny. I almost feel like he would be a really good editor to add if that's what we were looking for. Because he would come up with those like funny cuts, and he has a good sense of humor.
I don't know, I feel like he has like a very good like dry, sarcastic sense of humor.
Kind of leaning more towards that. He makes me want to see more.
Yeah, like the fact that he did that, and then I feel like he put a lot of effort into his application here. I would have thought somebody like him wouldn't really care that much about writing this shit down, but he put a lot of effort and came up with good ideas. Trivia, although he's probably my 5 of the top 5, but I think he deserves a chance.
He doesn't have any other online presence?
No, he
Go to his Instagram.
1 hour later.
We're good. That was an electric round.
Is it ever gonna stop, or should I like reset it now?
It will never stop.
Never.
All right. You guys remember who picked?
Oh, you guys saw Sexy and Tony presenting me with the interns. Narrowed it down from like 170, 175 to their top 5. Presented them as in talked about their strong points, why they'd be an asset to the company. So they did I'm proud of them, honestly. They did a really good job. That was like the first presentation I've ever given them, put on their plate for them to do. So that was fun. And I think it was something that was like really exciting for them to do. So that was cool. And then we'll get moving into the process. We're gonna have them probably come into the office when I get back from my vacation next week. I'll have a formal sit down interview with each of them, and we'll probably actually run them through some trivias that we'll put up on our TikTok. So that'll be fun. After that, we filmed the trivias for TikTok. So that's the other piece of organic content that we create. So a lot of the content we put on TikTok is ripped off of the videos that you guys see me make fantasy-wise. So those are like clips from that are edited vertically for our TikTok. TikTok itself, we do make organic content, mostly the trivias. Those are our most popular videos on our channel. So we want to start to look at that as more of almost like its own business in a sense. So we started the YouTube channel specifically for trivia. We have the TikToks going up every single day at 3 p.m. Never really miss a day with that. So we just filmed that for like 2 hours. And for time reference, that's the piece of content that the other guys in the office are extremely involved in, and the interns, whoever come in here, will also be really involved with and hands-on. And I'm glad that we found a foothold with that, because the YouTube stuff, obviously Tony helps edit it. Tony does edit it, and Sexy does the clips from it, but none of them they're not on camera for the YouTube stuff for the most part, at least not for like 95% of it. So I'm glad that like we have the foothold with TikTok that will get them more invested in becoming creators themselves. Sorry, I felt like that was crooked. So for reference, it's 6:40 right now. The two guys just left. I got some more work to finish up. I have not eaten yet today. I had a Kind bar and about 7 pistachios. And it's late and I'm hungry, so I got 5 Guys. It was the first time I had 5 Guys in like, I don't know, 3 years maybe. It's fucking phenomenal. I always forget to eat when I'm working. That was pretty much my day. And that's kind of a typical day for me, I would say. I'm probably working a little bit more this week in particular than I would in a normal week, only because I'm leaving for vacation next week. So I have to double up on everything I'm doing so that I can not have to film shit when I'm elsewhere, because I'm not gonna be able to. Got up, exercised, got in here, filmed a video, made some thumbnails, researched for videos, filmed some TikTok trivia, handled some miscellaneous external things, which I would put the intern stuff into there. I actually have to answer a couple of emails from lawyers in a second. I try to keep that stuff kind of towards the end of the day when it's more like admin work and I'll have to be creative for it, and I can run off of a Kind bar and 6 Five Guys fries. Maybe I'll do some quick Q&A right now from the Discord. I don't want to get into any of the real deep ones right now, because I'd like to do those in their own set of videos. Like, do you value in-person networking events? That's one I'd like to get a little bit more into. When you go out of the office, how do you manage to stay off your phone, or you just say fuck it and still do some business stuff? I'm working all the time for sure. Like, I won't be filming out there, but I'll definitely, I mean, even on vacation, I feel like when you go on vacation, the morning parts are typically, you have your own time in the morning, I think, for the most part, right? Where you can like get up. I'm a morning person now, so I'm like kind of programmed to get up by 7 a.m. So even if I'm somewhere where like, you know, if I go stay out with my sister with her and her boyfriend out in Denver, if I'm up at 7, I'm probably able to sit down on my laptop and focus for 3 hours before we day moving, and maybe even more than that if I want to. Long-winded way of saying I'm working when I'm on the road, but only shit that I want to do. I definitely never put my phone down completely, and I don't think that's the right way to do it. I'm not saying that you can't. I don't want to push that as if that's the only way to do it, but when I was younger, I definitely would bring equipment with me if I needed to film shit. I was very much in that mindset, and now I can take a beat if I wanted to, kind of, but I don't really. But I also don't think it's necessary to be a fucking psychopath like me either. What are you doing down here in Florida? I'm visiting my grandparents for like 3 or 4 days, then flying out to Denver to visit my sister. Nick, what's the best brand of tequila? I love Tequila Ocho. Their Silver Blanco is my favorite tequila. Let's say you're building a general content creation team of 4 to 5. What are the positions that are essential to making the operation run smoothly? That depends on, I guess, what your goal is. Also, what platforms you're putting it on. Right now, I like the setup that each person in the office, or at least everyone in the office, does have tangible skills outside of being on content. We are all inside of our content within the office, but we each have our own skills that are added to it. Tony's more in the creative role. Tony does all my editing for YouTube videos, but he also makes a lot of thumbnails, and he's getting better at that. He's getting better at overall editing, more lifestyle stuff. Sexy's more of just like a put the head down and go. If I tell him to complete a task, he will get it done. He's less creative than Tony is, but he's better suited for admin work. If I'm gonna need you to rip through these fucking 50 Excel sheets and find me these 4 things, I know I could trust him to do that. Obviously with content, it's a little bit different. You obviously need someone who can hold the content, like the main content creator. And I think on TikTok, we all share that. I don't feel like I am the content creator on TikTok whatsoever, even though the majority of our clips are from my YouTube. Obviously, I'm like the workhorse there. So you need someone, depending on what platform you're on, to be the go-to content creator, obviously. Do you need a designer? No, but that was something that we were not good at for a long time. I ended up getting better at it, and now I could do it at least 60% of the way of probably a real designer, which is more than enough for us. So I would say editor for sure, depending on what their workload is and depending on what your cadence for creating content is. You might need 2 separate editors, one to do the long form video and one to do the vertical type stuff. I know Jack has, I think, multiple editors that work on different, he might have an editor for one of his YouTube channels, another editor for a different YouTube channel. So we've tried to assemble a team, me personally, a team that's like a jack of all trades. You know, like you need to be good, you need to be dangerous everywhere. And I try to teach them as we're going, like, you know, move this part of the thumbnail over here because of this. When you're editing, chop this up like this pace wise because of this. Those are the kind of things I'd like to instill so that we're all kind of dangerous everywhere. Outside of that, I don't really know what else you need on a content team. In post-production, you need the people that are gonna make the content, the people that are gonna post content. I think the other stuff's kind of luxury ads, man. Like, you could have a social media manager who's scheduling and being the one that's putting on the post, but I also feel like if you have the person who's editing it, they could also put it out. Tony's responsible for uploading it to YouTube. Sexy's responsible for uploading to TikTok and posting that stuff. Like I said, you could have a designer. I don't think it's personally necessary, but if everybody in your team is fucking god awful at it, then maybe you look to outsource it, or maybe you look to just get better. That would be the ultimate team. Most people can do things with a very lean team. They just got to be willing to put the work. I'll wrap up there because this is probably a long video. I don't know. And I'm fucking starving and I can't wait to take a fat bite out of this juicy burger. All right, well, if you guys enjoyed the more lifestyle vlog-ish stuff, I can make more. I don't know if you'd rather have me just sitting at the desk and fucking screaming at you. Either way, I enjoy making this stuff, so don't matter to me. Let me know.